What is up, OTC? Hopefully, you guys are having a beautiful weekend. I just wanted to pop in here and talk about a little bit about level two and a little bit about charting. Um, and these strategies that people use in the OTC to succeed, and what strategies I think are the best for me, and that may be the best for you. I just want to kind of expose you guys to all these strategies, so then while you're learning how to trade the OTC, you can kind of mold your own strategy, right? So, before we get started, none of this is financial advice. All of this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm showing you guys the different strategies that I've seen in the OTC and how they're used, right? So, getting started here, we got the level 2 pulled up for the runner on Friday, SMCE. There's more DD coming on this later this week, but right now we're going to talk about the L2, and I have a little bit of a perfect example here on how you can use the L2 as a tool to scale in and scale out, or how you can use the L2 to see, support and resistance. So if you're not familiar with the L2, the left side is the bid and the right side is the ask, right? You got the bid price and the ask price, right? When people slap the ask, they're slapping those numbers, right? So if we have that 0059 and 25,000 shares on there, but someone, right, decides that they want to slap the ask for 30,000, right? It's going to move it up, right? It's going to move a tick because there's only 25,000 share sell order on that 0059, right? So it's going to move on to 0059 onto 006, right? But at 006, you could start to see bigger numbers, right? All the way down to 007s, right? You could start to see a lot of shares piling up. This is what you call a wall. What we have at 006 here, right, is almost 600,000 shares uh, to sell. And this is what the Twitter accounts mean when they're talking about who is walling this play. Someone big is trying to sell out. Um, you know, those things that have to do with walls and slapping. It's all coming from this, right? So right here, we see that there's a 600,000 share order to be sold at 006, right? But then you look on the left side and you could see that at 005s, right? There's a decent amount of shares, but then you see at 0031s there is a 500,000 share order. So you can kind of see, hey, 005s is going to be a little bit of a support. Is it going to be a huge support? No, not going to be a huge support, right? Someone with 100,000 shares can just sell that, break down that, those shares, and then it's going to move down to 0047 unless someone starts bidding at 0049s, right? Right before. Um, so with the L2, you can kind of get a gist of where that support is and where the resistance are, right? But you can also use the L2 for your strategy in the OTC, which is, you loaded up maybe a position bigger than you wanted, and you don't want to screw the chart over. There's a lot of new guys in the OTC who simply just buy in a massive amount, and they sit there like crackheads on the screen looking at every tick, and then they decide, oh, fuck, I want to get the hell out of this, right? So, what they end up doing, right? I call this the newbie thing. Some people do it on purpose just to fuck other people over, which is, terrible. But a lot of new people get scared and they want to just sell out and they just want to cash in the money they have, right? So right now, looking at SMCE, we got 006s, right? It's up 50%, but you see that bid, right? 0050. If someone wants to sell out of this, they either have to wall the 0059 or they have to go to that 0050 and just bid sell it, right? Now, if they have a position bigger than 100,000 shares, what's going to end up happening is the thing is going to start tanking. There's going to be a big candle on the chart that's going to show up and start showing everyone like, hey, someone's trying to sell out of this, someone big. Now, these people who have these big positions and aren't experienced um, with selling, ethically without killing plays, what they'll do is just they'll be like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna sell at the 0050, boom, sold, and then the ticker is like from 006 all the way to 0050, then it goes down to 0047, right? And there's only 65,000 shares on there, but they have a million shares that they want to sell out. They're going to sell that more. And they're going to keep breaking all those little bid walls right here. Um, they're going to keep breaking all these little walls right here. As you can see, I'm circling all the way down to the point where there's no more shares for them to sell, right? So if you're in a ticker with no volume and you're a big guy selling it, you're gonna sell this thing the fucking kingdom come, because there's no orders to buy your shares out. And what usually ends up happening is you lose out on money. You lose money. You're over here thinking you have 50%, but in reality you might get just a 5% because you're selling out of this. Now, what's the correct way, right? What's the way to sell um, you know, an OTC that doesn't have much volume without tanking the whole chart, right? So, what you can do is you can start walling, right? But you don't want to put a massive wall. If a stock has a lot of momentum with it, you don't want to put, let's say you had 10 million shares, right, of SMCE. And then all of a sudden, the stock has like 10 grand, 15 grand in volume, maybe, 50 grand. Let's give it 50 grand in volume. Um, 50 grand in volume, but then you just put up an order that's 75 grand, right, to sell out. More than the volume itself coming into the stock, you have a sell order. What are you doing there, right? Think about it. You're walling off the play. You're not letting that play continue, that momentum to continue. No one's going to want to, people that look at the L2s are not going to look at your $10 million, or not $10 million, 10 million share, um, you know, ask right there, your wall, and be like, oh, I'm slapping the fuck out of that, right? Especially now. No one's going to do that, right? They're going to be like, who the fuck's trying to sell this many shares? And why are they trying to sell this many shares? I'm just going to wait for this guy to sell out and buy at the bottom, right? Eventually they'll get impatient and just start selling their position and they get a cheaper price. So, what's the way that you can do this if you have such a big position to get out of something that, doesn't have much volume? One, look at the dollar volume, right? And see how much you're trying to sell. If you're trying to sell, you know, 5 grand of it, maybe couple thousand shares at a time, and the momentum is picking up, great. you know Set a little order, 25,000 shares, maybe 100,000 shares, and that's manageable, right? People will be like, okay, all right, boom, let's let me slap this 100,000 shares, right? It'll slap, you know your order will get sold. And that's how people do it in the OTC. You'll see these big accounts that will, go into a play. And what they have is they have big positions. So they wall off the L2 slowly, slowly, slowly. And some accounts, just want to sell out of their position. And some accounts will, as they're being slapped out of the play, right? As they're selling their shares, they come back into the bid and they start. Let me change the color here. So on the green, right? So hold on. Here's the red. Now, went to the wrong color here. Well, let's do the blue pen. So as you see, the red side, right, it's the ask, and the blue side is the bid. So usually, what bigger traders will do, especially if they believe in the DD, they believe in their play, and they have a huge position, what they'll do is they'll wall off the ass slowly. And as they're, walling off the ass slowly with small amounts, they're coming back with that money that is being slapped out and going to the blue side here. And what they'll do is they'll stack the bids. right? They believe in their ticker. They believe in the DD. They believe in the news. There's more news coming, right? They're securing profits, right, on red, but also they love the stock, right? They love it. So what they're going to do is go to the bid and start helping support their play. And that's how you see big runners like GEGI, right? And GGII, right? All these big runners, people are supporting the bids. It isn't just slapping the ask, right? Over and over. Some people just slap the ask. They don't care. But a lot of people go back and support their bids because they know some people don't know how to trade, and they're going to want to sell out of their big position just by selling on the bid, right? So that's just a little rundown on level 2 and how you can use that as a tool for you. Hopefully it's not too complicated. We'll dive in a little bit deeper on it um, later on. And there's also little tools that you can see buy orders coming in, sell orders coming in. You can manage and see what these sell orders are. And, um, another thing as well to keep in mind on the level 2 is I'm going here with the black pen is these names, right? Some of these, you know, have correlation to dilution, right? They each have their own little role, and a lot of the times you'll be able to look at a level 2 and be like, oh shit, they're diluting, right? Because you see one of these names on top. But that's a topic for another time. Um, if you're a level 2, a person who's very, very intrigued with level 2, hit up a level 2 trader. Have them run it down with you. But as a trader in general, right, a well-rounded trader, you should be able to look at a level 2 and somewhat understand what's going on so you can make better decisions, right? So going over here to the chart that I wrote down, um, you know, just basically explaining the same thing for you guys. How some traders in the OTC work. So we're going to go in with a yellow here, right? So we got trader number 1. We'll do it with the green. We got trader 1, right? This is a guy who just started the OTC. His, I don't know, his uncle or whoever trades the OTC told him that, this play is insane. He didn't do any DD. He just like threw in money, right? So he threw in money. Let's say he threw it in right here. Threw in 5 grand. Now this guy's got a 5 grand, 5 grand right here, right? Didn't pay attention to L2. Didn't pay attention to violence, dilution, anything like that, right? So then play goes up. Play goes up. Euphoria, right? His play's going up. Then it tanks down, right? No DD done. Doesn't know what the hell is happening. So our number 1 guy starts selling right here, right? But he has a decently big position. So then causes the chart to go down a little bit more, right? This is the um, e-liquid company that he's trading. So causes it to go down, but then people who did DD are here at the bottom. It's like, oh shit, this is oversold as hell. This is great. You know, starts skyrocketing up. Now this guy, our green guy here, missed out, right? Didn't do his homework, didn't look through the filings to see what was going on, maybe to see what's happening. What he did was panic, went to the bid, sold all of his shares, and didn't pay attention to the L2. Decided to crash the play. Right now we got our number 2 guy. Hopefully this changes colors. All right, yellow's not gonna work. Uh, this guy right here, this orange guy. We got our number 2 guy, somewhat experienced in the OTC, right? So what he does, bought at the wrong time, right? Maybe he bought at the top here. But, he's a little bit of a gambler. Sees it goes down, but he's done the DD, right? He believes that, hey, I've seen this before in the OTC. Usually these teams run. So what happens is, goes down. Maybe he buys a little here, but he probably doesn't, right? Doesn't want to buy because he doesn't know how to read a chart, doesn't know what a reversal is, doesn't know what can make this thing. This thing is ugly as shit, but um, doesn't know what can make the thing bounce back up, right? So he's just holding. Now you see this guy up here goes up, goes up, goes up. and decides to sell. Nothing wrong here, right? But he decides to sell on the bid. And what it causes to happen, dip, right? And the play goes sideways. Eventually, people dip out, right? So he sold at a good time. But did he sell, you know, thinking about the others that are in the play? No, he didn't. He kind of crushed the momentum there, right? So momentum crush right here. But then, maybe you have a guy who did his homework. Maybe he loaded in right here with the red, or maybe he even loaded in right here with all the other circles, right? So that guy comes in, did the DD, likes it, and he has a nice position, right? So our guy here, he's gonna go in, play goes up, right? As it's going up, he's walling bit by bit, maybe 25,000 shares, maybe 50,000 shares, maybe even 100,000 shares, right? Maybe he sees that on the chart, it's starting to kind of, the momentum's starting to fall out. Our orange guy right here ended up crushing the momentum, right? So this guy, you know, he's looking at it, but as the stock was going up, he was already selling a bit of his position. He has a big position, but he's selling it as it's going up, right? Bit by bit by bit. And what he's doing is he's supporting the bid, right? So he'll sell, go back, support the bid, right? And you can see here, yeah, this guy left a big position, right? Our orange guy here just dumped. But you had number 3 trader setting up bids as it's going up while leaving a tail, right? Setting up bids to see if he can catch more shares. And then boom, hits right here. He catches a little bit. He starts seeing that the momentum is kind of stagnating. So maybe he pulls his bids out, right? But then panic ensues, right? And then let's say our number 3 guy has a huge tolerance, right? And he knows how to read a chart. Falls back down, right back to the trend line. And he's like, okay, I'm going to set my bet at the trend line. I love the DD here. I can see this thing running, right? So then he sets his bids here, catches a little bit of it. And then once again, his strategy. As it's going up, he's selling. He is selling bit by bit, not going over here, on the right side where we see the L2 and walling this whole thing off, right? With however many millions of shares this guy may have. So it's important to know these strategies and how people work. And the reason why I say that is because we're in an illiquid OTC. You have to see what strategies can work best for you, right? And how your strategies may affect other people on the chart and how other people may, maybe playing in OTC. And that way you just adapt, right? And, I'll add one more trader here. And this is our number 4, the gambler. He's just like, fuck, love this shit. Maybe he loaded up somewhere around here and he just holds it. Nothing wrong with just holding, right? Just holds it all the way up. But he's inexperienced, right? So goes all the way up and he has a massive position that he accumulated. Not accumulated, but just slapped, right? And he decides to sell out, crashes the play, right? And, you know, be aware of these things. Be aware that traders like this, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, exist. Like I'm very sorry about the drawing, but I hope my explanation kind of helps you understand this better. But, you know, be aware of these things. You're not in the 2021, OTC. You're not at the 2020 OTC. You're at a brand new OTC that people have never seen before. However, the volume is the same, right? This is still the old OTC, low volume. Only certain plays are getting, momentum and skyrocketing, right? So be smart. If you have a big position, learn to scale in using the L2. If you have a big position as well, learn to scale out using the L2 or using a chart, right? And if you love a stock, you know, and you've been burned many times by holding, maybe you should try to implement a strategy of where you sell bit by bit as it's going up and leave a little tail, right? Maybe you have 100,000 shares and the stock's going up, but you want to make sure you have at least 25,000 or 50,000 shares, right? So you could just keep selling your 50,000 shares all the way till you get to that desired number that you want for your tail, and then use the rest of that to support your play. That's the big thing. Support your plays, right? So I hope that explanation kind of helped you guys out. Hopefully it didn't confuse anyone. If it confused anyone, just DM me. Um, just trying to show you guys how these strategies can be used in the OTC, and the strategies that I feel are successful and the strategies that I feel are risky and not successful and hurts others, right? So you guys have a good rest of your weekend. I will see you guys on Tuesday. And definitely keep an eye on SMCE. Gonna be putting out a DD thread on that along with a video. I'm extremely excited for this ticker. Where this company is going. They already have 6 million not 6 million, 10 million in revenue with 6 months in. Which is, it's going to be a massive increase from what they had last year. So, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you trading on Tuesday. See you guys later.